Welcome to the sacred space between the old and the new. This masterclass has been brewing inside of me for a while, and now I feel very inspired to actually come on and live and share bits of pieces what's been happening and how I've been navigating and how this sacred space and holding in that sacred space myself with the right tools helped me to shift from being really stressed and overwhelmed into complete ease and surrender, I would say, right? This is the hardest thing to do because we are control freaks. So welcome for those who actually never actually seen any master classes, haven't done any courses with me or never worked with me, and welcome to those. If you've been working with me for quite a while, I'm so happy you're here. You know I love you very much. And the reason I call this sacred space is because it's sacred, it's important, it's a golden space. I've been sharing, if you've done alignment course with me, if you've been working with me one-on-one, you know there is an alignment gap between where you are and where I want to get to, right? There is always going to be a gap. Life is about that gap. Yet we're making it to be and feel about the result, right? In my phase one, and when you start working with me, one of the things that shifting is energetically shifting from the result orientation to experience orientation. So it means you're prioritizing feeling good rather than like having the whole kind of all things. It doesn't mean you're not gonna have things. It just means you're gonna have things and you're gonna feel good. Versus the old paradigm is you're gonna get to the point B regardless of how you feel. So in new paradigm, the emotions is the key to understand that life and your journey and your purpose and your mission and where you need to go next and to do next is actual emotions is what indicate and shows you. It's like GPS, where you need to go, what you need to do, right? So you always follow relief, you always follow excitement, where you all follow joy, you follow all the good things, right? That's happening. So in all paradigm, it's about getting there regardless of how you feel. So it's a very way of different of living, right? So even to start this masterclass, I want you just to bring the awareness. If you're really new to this work, if you're really new to new paradigm or even understanding of it, or even when you want to kind of remind yourself of the foundation, so here it is. You can imagine, I'm a visual person, so for me it really helps to visualize things, and that helps me to shift internally, right? So in this planet, in this world, imagine there are two worlds. It's like one big bubble, right? In this bubble, there are two balls, so like two planets, you can say, right? There are two planets. The one planet is the old paradigm planet, and the one is the new one paradigm planet. The old paradigm planet, he has own conditions, his own beliefs, own ways of doing things, seeing things, like everything from every aspect of our lives, from health to love to body to money to relationships, friendship, everything. And there's a new paradigm, new world, who also has its own foundations, like a belief system, conditions, training, fitness, health, love, relationships, like literally everything. So there are two planets. So the old planet, this is where we actually born into, basically, right? So the old planet, be born into, like, depends like of your culture, of your country, and everything depends. We all the same have cultural, religion, all the society conditioning, right? But most of them, those in the old paradigm, if it's in the old paradigm, most of them are based on lack, based on conditions, based on suffering, based on misalignment with who you really are at your soul. The reasons why we're born into it, because there are a system, and there are a system that the people behind it will actually have a lot of power to control humanity. There are a lot of power, a lot of money, and a lot of things that included. We're not gonna dig deep into their reasons and what exactly is happening. This is like, I could give you another masterclass for this, but I want you to understand the basics. You're born into the old paradigm matrix. maybe there's a majority of us. There are some of them, if they were like having different karmic reasons, they probably haven't. They have a different experience. So we're born into like a world which is based of luck and misalignment. There is no embodiment. So you as a human, you as a soul, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you get to the point B to the point C, according to the rules, according what is being told to you, because this is the time you're gonna get actually clap, and you get the money, or you get validation, or whatever you're looking for, right? Whatever that actually the wound that you have it in yourself. So here is a new paradigm. So here's the thing: the new paradigm always existed. It's not something new. It's always been there. It's always been, since the moment you born in this planet. It's always been there. But it's been hidden. It's been really quiet, because the only minority of people live the new paradigm, and the people who actually talked about it will start living naturally this way, because this is a new paradigm, is a natural way of living. That's like the way you're supposed to be, the way you're supposed to live, the way you're supposed to feel, the way you're supposed to experience life. This is like our nature. Yet, when we live in our nature, when we do all the things it makes us joy, it does not serve the old paradigm for those who are trying you to not to live. So it's like a kind of a sort of a fight often that happens. But new paradigm is something that it's already been there. We just tapping into it again. It's like remembering. It's a lot of people call this remembering who you really are, and that's a new paradigm. This is the space where you kind of get to remember who you really are before all the conditions being placed in you, or before the beliefs being placed on you. It's like you remembering who you are. And that new paradigm, the old paradigm doesn't really like the new paradigm. They're trying to shut it down and all of those things, but we don't focus on that. Because when I really believe, and this is again the reason probably I'm here where I'm right now, is because I wasn't trying to not to be in the old paradigm. I was trying to push that away. I wasn't trying. What I've really noticed is like through my evolvement, through my journey, I really just chose to start feeling good rather than anything else. So again, it was gradual kind of healing happening, gradual shifts happening, where the more I shifted, the less I tried to push against the old. My intention, my energy, I just wanted to feel good, because I lived for so long in depression, in anxiety. My body would hurt. I would be in a toxic relationships. It was just, I felt like a struggle. It felt really hard and heavy for a very long time. And there was a point in my life where it's like, I just done. I just want to feel good. I don't really need anything. I just want to feel good. And when I hit that spot where like me feeling good that's all I want, I start looking for my brain, my energy start looking for ways to get that. I went into like, again, when your old world is still conditioning you, is still gonna probably go in a toxic ways of doing it. Let's say me from being sick, I start exercising. That made me feel better. That made me feel good. But again, like old paradigm creeped in. It's like, and I start overdoing a lot of things, right? Overtraining, so my body would break again, right? Or you start eating better, but then you went to the anorexia. It's like, see, there is like a still fight between old and the new. But even though when you have this intention, you have like, I have shortcuts to get there, I would say, through my whole years. And that's the reason when you like, I share this methodology. I've been working with women for a very long time, and I see when women start implementing the tools, it's like they get sort of shortcuts there. Like the things that I've done in 15 years now, they do it like really quickly, and that blows my freaking mind. But the point I want to share is that in the new paradigm, it's like it's a different way of living. It's like we cannot be in old and a new paradigm. We just want to understand, okay, you're going to a new paradigm and you're fully committed to that, and if this old creeps in, because it creeps in, because that's the work to clean it up, because you have been conditioned to be in a bondage, to be in a box, to be quiet, not to be seen, just like, no, like you don't matter. It's that you're not smart enough, you're not like pretty enough, doesn't really matter. Versus the new paradigm, you understand, this is like none of this matters. What really matters is actually service from the place of alignment. And that service can happen when you actually feel good. And probably if you're at the beginning of the journey, probably that service, it does not even make sense to you. And what makes sense is like, I just need X, Y, Z to feel good. And there are a lot of conditions, right? And that's okay. And this is like, we're going through phases in the new paradigm. And I share 9 steps of a change in new school of life, or like how I work with clients and how we shift, because there is a phases, like phase 1 is like there is more energy out than in, and phase 2 you start having have a breath, you start in and out, these things like start flowing, and phase 3 is like more, you're just going like this, right? So but it's very, very important to understand, as a visual, there are 2 worlds. Both of them hold different beliefs, different ways of doing life, different seeing life, different approaches, different, even though they might seem the same, they feel very different. And when they feel very different, they have different results. So give you an example, right? Let's say, very good example is me. Old paradigm, when I was living, I was training my body, right? And a new paradigm did the same thing. Went to the gym, training, same way, same weights, nothing changes. But you see me in 2 different lights. One of them is actually causing so much pain, and even I'm doing the same exercise, and it was a new paradigm. It's the same weight, same exercise, same place, everything same. But somehow it feels easy and fun and light. My body responds really, really well. You wouldn't tell from the outside world that there's something's going on. So this is how the importance is the internal world. It's like, it's everything, right? So the old paradigm is actually asking you to be a slave to it. I said there is nothing wrong. If you choose to live in the old paradigm, you have to commit to that and be okay with that. There is nothing wrong. It's just one way of living. If you want to feel certain way, you want to do things, you want to works, it's fine. If that serves in all paradigm, it's completely fine. But we cannot live in that paradigm, choose the old and expect new paradigm results. It does not work this way. This is where we lose. So what needs to happen, commit to one. Same thing if you decide to go in a new paradigm. When you decide a new paradigm, you cannot go back and use the old paradigm tools and suffer. It doesn't work this way too. So see that clarity that there are 2 different worlds, and which world you want to choose for yourself, for your family, for your environment, for your community, for your anybody around you. You got to commit to one. That gives you relief, because you're going to stop feeling like push and pull, force and chase. You're going to know where you're going. It gives you that some sort of clarity. So women, when decided in my world, a woman comes and say, I'm done with the old, I'm done with the shit, I'm done feeling awful, I'm done with anxiety, I'm done with feeling like crazy, I'm done feeling on a roller coaster, I'm done feeling like shit in my body, I'm done being mad and victim, I'm done all these things, the attitude start changing, they're coming in a new paradigm. And this is where the sacred space comes in. And honestly guys, I'm like, that space used to scare me so much. That space used to scare me so much, because I thought that that's the moment I shifted back, or the moment it didn't happen the way I wanted to, the moment I fall back in the old pattern, the moment I failed. Because I didn't believe or trust in myself that I have enough strength to stay in a new paradigm. So I kept myself comfortable. It's like, you're shifting older and new, and that kind of like giving yourself a hard time about it, feeling guilty. And then what you say, I told you so, I'm not good enough. So it just gives you that opportunity to reconfirm your beliefs about yourself, that you are weak, or you are not good enough, or whatever that is. Now, the way I see this sacred space, and the reason I call that sacred, because it's a fucking sacred. That space is the expansion. That space is a potentiality. That space is actually shows you your entire world. You can zoom out. Where you are right now, I want to get to. Zoom out. And you're going to see where you're not free yet. You can see things that actually what direction you want to go to. Things that actually you worked for a while but doesn't work anymore. Because again, I noticed the reason you're gonna feel like you want to move in the new paradigm, but sometimes you don't know where to start, you're gonna actually see that like there is like an excitement and like that kind of like eager for something new, for something better. But of course, there's an old part of you said, no, you don't need to. No, you don't. You're fine. That's the "you're fine" song comes in. You don't need to invest in yourself. No, you don't need to do any of those things, right? You're gonna feel that push and pull. But if you really understanding, when you pay attention, this is not just push and pull. What's actually happening, that internal, that dialogue, the push and pull, there is a conversation going on between the old and the new, between the old girl from the old paradigm, where she's been wanting to live in a new paradigm for a very long time, where she's suffered so much, where she's been put down, shut down, suppressed, where she had no word, no expression, no joy, she wasn't able to breathe for how many decades? She's damn afraid. She's damn afraid. And she does not believe in you. And say like, now we're gonna have all the fun in the world. She does not gonna believe in you right away. And that is the reason you have a push and pull all the time. Because you try to force yourself using old paradigm tools to get to the new paradigm. It does not work this way. If you're realizing, if we do work with internal parts of us that needs to be integrated and soothed and calmed down, because we're working not just with demanding, we're working with your nervous system. We're working the places in your heart that been really, really hurt and maybe not even forgiven. So now you have the space. You realizing there is a different way of living. It's a different way of being. There's a different way of seeing. There's a different way of operating. And what is your initial feeling about it? This is the foundation. Are you excited? Are you disappointed that you're not there yet? Are you angry? Are you eager? Whatever the emotion is. It's a foundational emotion. And that emotion needs to be calibrated to at least to be okay. Because we cannot shift from the place of the lack. You cannot be angry at yourself and shift in a new paradigm. You cannot be disappointed and guilty and shift in a new paradigm. You want to come from the place, at least I'm okay or eager now to experiencing something new. There will be parts of you now in that space, in the sacred space. There'll be parts of you saying to you, I'm afraid to let go what I have built so far. And now I want to say, to go and ease. What is my worth? I'm not going to get validated. I'm not going to get those applauds. How can I live without it? Because in that sacred space, you understand what is your real self-worth is and where you've been for a very long time. That sacred space, it's like oftentimes you could feel like a rebirthing yourself. That sacred space where it's a beautiful space where you actually see you did things for a very long time and they weren't good for you. They weren't healthy for you. And they actually hurt you. And they're part of you that served you, but it's like somehow you feel cold than you. But you're so damn afraid to let go of that, the old. Because who am I without it? Who am I without being so addicted to work? Who am I now without it? No one's gonna give me the claps to say like you're such a good employee or a boss. Who am I without sabotaging my body, dieting, overtraining, undertraining? Who am I? Who's gonna say that I'm strong and beautiful? Who am I? People gonna love me or not when I change? You're still in the sacred space. You're realizing how much you still are focusing on that approval of the world. And when you notice, that's the sacred space where you actually finally get to integrate that parts of you. Because it's a promise to you. That space is so beautiful because it's like the one shift at the time, the one little shift that changes the entire trajectory of your life. And the one shift that you actually process it in the right way using new paradigm tools, you're gonna notice, you're gonna have the instant shift, and the way you feel about the people, the situations and events and everything, it's gonna be so different. It's gonna be so in alignment with you. And you feel like, imagine that is in that sacred space, you like wake up in the morning, it's like, I used to have an anxiety right now, and I don't. You wake up in the morning like having this rush over your body with a lot of tense. Oh my God, how I'm gonna get everything? There are so many things to do. And you wake up and like, I might just gonna lay down for 5 more minutes. It feels nice. You're gonna be starting your day with entire control plan, strategy plan, all of the things that you need to conquer the world. And now you're gonna wake up, it's like, these flowers are so beautiful. In that sacred space, you like start seeing it and shifting it and allowing it, and like you just sitting in that space and you noticing how life beautiful actually could be. And this is like you creating it. And this is the moment where you start having and pulling the power back that is within yourself. And what your boss says, what your worker says, or your partner says, your kid says, it does not really matter anymore. They don't define who you are. They don't define your worth. They don't define who you are as a person, because nobody knows. Only you know. And a lot of women, when I say they get like, feel like they feel stuck, it's impossible to be stuck because you're constantly changing. It's a process, like until you die. But the point is, you have picked up the momentum that is just perpetuating, creating the same thing all over again. That's why it just feels like it's stuck, but it's not stuck. It's keep moving. And if you want to move in the new direction, you want to move, experience something new, you're gonna move, change the momentum of it. And in that sacred space, when you start seeing sacred space, not just like I'm changing and like it's hard, but I'm changing and like, what's next? What's next unfolding? What's next shifting? What's next shift? It's like, it's a game. You know where you're going, you know what you want, you start being in touch. Because here's the thing. You feel fear or feeling resistance to the change only when you think it's gonna hurt you. That's the reason you feel resistant, because you think that's actually, it's not beneficial to you. It's actually gonna hurt you in some sort of way. And your protective mechanism, of course, says, like, no, we're not going there because it's gonna hurt you, because this is what you've been telling me. And I'm here to reassure you and give you tools and help you and lead you and give you a hand and walk together, and sing along the way. And saying that this actually gives you the beauty that you already have created in your life. It just gives you more. I say the new paradigm is also an amplifier of beautiful things you already have created. And the stuckness that we feel is only because you have pushing the brakes. Because you cannot hold more. More money, more love, more experiences, more adventures, more whatever you want in life. Because to holding big things requires energy flow, it requires an energy, it requires to be able to hold energy. And that's the reasons, like our energy would not give us more, or universe would not give us more unless we capable of holding it. Whatever that is, money, love, relationships, husband, kids, whatever, every single thing, because every single thing is energy first. So the sacred space. So that sacred space is actually the space where life is about. And you have to understand that's the gap is what is life. It's like the adventure. It's that joy, the ride. We think the ride is bumpy and we're afraid of going there, so we're desperately trying to get to the plane, to the B, just to make sure we avoid that discomfort. But when you actually realizing that gap that's the gap his life is about. And when you start like embodying, integrating that from the new paradigm, not the old paradigm, you start having a lot of fun. And you understand this is like never-ending journey. And it does not bother you anymore. It just makes you feel like, what's next? And yesterday I had a call with one of my private clients, and we had this beautiful shift within, right? We've been working together for quite a long time. Probably been 5 or 6 years. And there was a shift that happened within her. Something that been holding on to for like quite a while, we just working on different layers. And what she was, let's say 6 years ago, what she's now, it's like you would not even tell. It's like she's a very different human. The way it does, she feels, she operates, she helps, and like serve, everything is like beautiful. And there was a shift, and I asked her like, how is everything now with that little shift that we had on a call? And she said like, it's not there anymore. The triggers are gone. Like, I'm sitting here and watching, like, I'd be frustrated, I would be angry and like triggered and like holding and trying and like reactive, and now I'm sitting and like I don't know what's happening. And that's just like, this is the moment where I know like, oh, fuck, I love this work, because I do this in my life every single day. It's like that's the sacred space I'm always into. I'm always living that sacred space, and I see this as a sacred space. I'm not trying to get it to be. I'm trying to this space be to be the most nurturing, fun, enjoyable space to be in. And I'm making sure I'm doing that, because there is no ending. There is no getting there. And in the last 2 years, the momentum is being incredible fast in my life, with everything, with my health, with my giving birth, being pregnant, build the entire house, we opened 2 new businesses. It's been so, seems on external, we've done more than people do in a decade or 20 decades when you actually see what's happening in our world here. And I was thinking like, I know it's all energy, right? But like, when you feel like you don't have time, you feel like there is always like never-ending things to do, this it's like a lot of stress, and this happened naturally, unfolding, just like you just know what needs to happen. It's just such a flow of energy, and that's the reason it's just like we have those things, because you're embodying, and it just comes, you're holding it. We're able to open one, then we're able to open another one, we're able to grow, I'm open to do this, I'm open to hold more clients. It's just like you see where it actually flows rather than push and chase, just chasing, energy. So then the sacred space is really about equipping yourself with the right tools. Because life is all about tools. You want to have tools for every single situation in your life, when it's a high or a low. Versus the old paradigm is designed to actually ignore your emotions, which is you really good and equipped with how to suppress your being, your emotions, your soul. Versus the new paradigm, it's a completely different tool set where it actually helps you to understand your feelings and sense where you need to go. That like your feeling is literally telling you to go to the right, but you have learned in your old paradigm that like doesn't matter. So see, in your system it's very confusing. In your mind, this is very, very confusing. It's really, really hard in your system, in your body, because body is what needs to shift this first. So in the old paradigm, we have in the old world, we learn that we need to change a behavior, we need to change our thoughts, we need to change habits, we need to change a lot of doing, right? So if you have this behavior addiction, you have to change the thing. And yet in a new paradigm, you understand these are the things, and this is like byproducts of the emotions being suppressed. So what we do in a new paradigm is actually understanding and healing the emotion, changing the energy behind it, so that addiction can actually go away without even trying. I'll give you an example to understand it. So I was struggling with bulimia and anorexia for a very long time, binge eating as well, always eating, and bulimia was a very long time. I like really suffered a lot. So it would be like this is such an addiction. Sometimes it's like you're on such an autopilot that you don't even think. It's like if you live in a completely different world where like it's like it's a brain change as well. So it's like you don't even think. You basically as a robot, you do the thing, you eat, purge. It's like it's guilt, and it's like over and over. It's just, and you don't know how to stop. It's such an awful place to be. You just, people say just don't do it. You just cannot. It's just like, it feels like there is a demon inside of you that it does this for you. You have no control. And when someone says just don't do it, you don't, it's like, say like, it's more than just an action. This is how I feel like you've been kind of possessed, or like there is a demon inside of you. It does everything for you. Just like you literally have no word, no power. So for a long time, I was trying to not to throw up, or try not to binge it. I was trying to control that food so much. It was a nightmare. I remember I was crying, like there was from morning to night. I was just like devastated. I didn't know what to do, right? And again, once you hit the hit spot, rock bottom, something needs to change. And this is where the cleanup started. So I started actually addressing a lot of the emotions, start feeling, and start questioning, journaling, and I started doing this. Like I was still doing the bulimic things, but on the top of that, I started actually doing the right things, the new paradigm tools. And I started journaling and processing, crying. But crying wasn't more about why I'm here, but why I'm crying is just to releasing some sort of like stagnant stuff, stagnant emotions. And for me personally, it was a lot of stemmed from my dad being abandoned me. He wasn't there for my childhood, and my mom being really strict. So it was like I never felt like loved. And that processed, and I realizing, and there was one day I just felt like there was no pull to go and buy a lot of shit and purge. That was just like not there, just gone. So bulimia stopped. That moment I processed the emotion. It was incredible. Then I just started crying out of joy because I felt like I have myself back. I have my power back. But then again, this is the patterns. And then I got into pattern of over exercising, training crazy. My body would hurt so much, and I was just so definitely controlling. I was like that part of control everything. I took that and into the gym, into the floor where I actually was beating myself up basically. How my body feels doesn't matter. I'm sick, doesn't matter. If I would not go a day, I didn't have days off. If I wouldn't go there for a day, I would go crazy. It would be like a crazy bitch in a house. I was so afraid. I felt like I'm losing control. And then one day I felt like, okay, this is the same thing. And again, the moments, the days that I supposed to go and train, the hours I'm supposed to train, I sat down. I allowed myself to have an hour to journal and see, just notice what I'm feeling, what's happening in my system, what I'm actually doing before I go to the gym. I allowed myself to train as much as I wanted to, but on the top, I'm gonna actually see what's happening behind the scenes. And I journal every single morning, the time that was supposed to be for the gym. So I had to postpone it, which was super hard at the time. And then one day, like there was slowly, gradually noticed that like, I don't want to beat myself up anymore. Or the training stopped. And healthy balance came in. And just wanted to cry because that feeling of I don't have to control anymore is everything. Where you can just surrender and allow the flow. Just be flexible in life. Be flexible in your schedule. Be flexible in the way you do things, the way you eat, the way you train. It's like there is no such a thing as it has to be a certain way. My way, this way. If not, a condition. And I start letting go of these conditions so much. In that sacred space, I still let go of conditions to this day. But when I see those conditions are like sometimes just like such a surface ones. Like, why I'm still doing this? Like, I'm just like, it's like, even my partner sometimes is so in awe when it comes to like the way I chill about everything, because I just generally allow the flow. There's a lot of trust now, a lot of surrender, just like knowing certainty and energy in my life. And she's like, you're not stressed? I was like, no. I feel tension. I feel like I'm more, I care about those things, but like I'm not going crazy as I used to. It's just like it's such a cool, calm, and collected place. But this place is like where you calibrate to, where you're shifting from the old to the new paradigms. Like you're gonna have those bounces forth and back, but it's the job. It's not about giving yourself that time. It's about giving yourself that inspiration, or giving yourself that knowing there is a potential for something different. It's like in my world, like what I see, it's like knowing like you're gonna go into the new world, in a new playground, a lot of fun happening. It's like, you know, like a kid, you're gonna go to the new playground, experience new things. So this is that feeling. I'm not gonna ask you to let go of anything that you've done in the old. That's the beauty about being a sacred space. You're always gonna have that. You can always come back to it anytime. Always there, always exists. But can you give yourself that opportunity to step into that sacred space where you're actually doing the work? Because here's the thing, is that sacred space is basically like a shower. And mom basically said, I don't want to go shower, but you want to go to the party, you know? You want to go to like awards, you know? And there's an old paradigm where just you being in the mud. And the sacred space is basically a shower. You want to get shower, you want to put a nice dress, high heels, stick your bag, off you go. Get some perfume on, right? So you want to all pretty nice and go to a new paradigm. So that's the sacred space, is the shower. We understand, oh, I shower this, I shower that, I clean up this, I clean up and then like, but that's like fun process. And yet women say like, I don't want to go shower, I don't want to go, I just want to be right there. You would not like to be like in like, you know, in a gala, you know, awards, with being in your muddy shoes and like all stinky and like with flies around you, sitting around the people who actually have these beautiful outfits. You're not. You're not like you feel good at all. You would say like, oh, I think I need a shower, or maybe I need a bath and scrub. But you're going in that shower, understanding I'm going to shower and I'm actually gonna embrace that journey. I'm gonna have fun with it now. I'm gonna put some toys, some ducks, some bubbles, some, you know, some scents and whatever that you need in order to make the bath to be more fun. But the most important part is that you understand this sacred space is sacred. It needs to be treated as sacred, not something you need to go through, something like you have a hard time or be victim of it. This is the time you again get to step into your power. And this is the time where you get to say like, I'm taking the ownership of my life and I'm actually going in a different direction. And validation and applause that you've been seeking for a very long time, it's just completely fine. We always care. And I care what people think of me. I do. But they not determine my actions. They not determine how I feel about myself. I care because I can adjust to approaches, how to operate with people, how to serve them better, but it don't define me. And you're gonna notice one thing about the validation is that you'll be seeking validation and approval only if you live in an old paradigm. And it's most likely from all paradigm people. Because it's old paradigm people would actually applaud you for working hard, for doing those like crazy achievements, for you know, working long hours and having this body with like spent 12 hours at the gym, whatever that you're actually doing. Old paradigm people say, wow, you're so strong, you're amazing. But when you come to the new paradigm people, they ask you first, how much time do you have for yourself? How much time do you have for your family? How much time, how is your body feeling? You feeling good? You feeling happy? You feeling, you know, light? You feeling open? How much money do you have? He's gonna ask all the right questions. And the new paradigm people, they're not gonna applaud you for suffering. So there are two worlds. They both exist at the same time. Which one you live in, you gotta live in. You can always go to a different one, but you cannot jump between the two. And if you decide to go in a different one, there will be a space and a time lag. Because when you decide to go to the new paradigm, you'll be focusing on momentum shifts, energetic shifts, not just physical, emotional shifts, orientation shifts. All those things are shared in alignment principles and alignment foundations. There will be time lag between when you shift and what you actually see. Because here's the thing about the change itself. How do you know you have changed? When you feel this different about the same situation, the same people, the same events, the same everything, when you feel about that very differently, when you do the work, you know you changed. And when you know you changed, your reality can change. But there will be a time gap. How big, small, depends how well is your momentum. Understanding momentum is crucial because either you push the right buttons or you push the wrong buttons. Right? So my invitation is to go and journal about it. Your thoughts and feelings about the space in between. And how you actually feel. You afraid of that? You feel disappointed, discomfort about it, resistance? Or you're actually feeling now eager and inspiration? Because in any shift, any growth, any in a financial love and everything, there will be a gap, a sacred space. And for you to shift into something beautiful and grow, that space needs to be clean. Shower. So if you're realizing there's always going to be that space. And what you're going to do with it, how you feel about it, how you treat yourself in it, determines the entire experience of your life. In saying that, if you feel ready for some sort of work, if you feel like, okay, like I have the space, but I really feel like I want some extra tools, I want someone to talk to about it, I want someone to walk together with, I wanna cry together about it, I wanna laugh together about it, and I feel like I kind of got it, but I feel like there is something missing. I'm here. If you want something short term, long term, you want to do on your own, you want support, there is a lot of options. But as long as you're realizing this requires a commitment, because once you're in it, you cannot go back. As I said to women, when you start seeing alignment, you start feeling certain, you start feeling like there is no anxiety about it, you cannot unseen that, you cannot undo that, because it's like alignment, this is how alignment works. The better you start feeling it, in general, the more you heal, integrate it, and just clean it up, you're elevating. So you're becoming really sensitive to alignment. So something is off or out of alignment, you already feel it. So that's why it's always a guidance. So that's why once you're in it, you're in it. You cannot go back. Because once you're experiencing the good, you always want more. Because imagine feeling good all the time. Imagine being connected to your body all the time. It feels amazing. So why not do it? Right? Unless you believe or feel this will gonna hurt you. So journal about that. And if you need any guidance, I'll let you know your feedback in journal with any aha moments, anything came up. You can send me a message, you can comment. We'd love to know what's coming up for you and how you feel about the secret space and what is missing. And I'll drop the part 2 about it then. So